frozen in fear. If I'd have figured you out from beginning, I'd never let you.
Welcome back, guys, to the Divine Podcast. Today we have a special episode with Monique Hardy, hammer thrower. I'm so excited to talk with her and get to know more about her faith and her career. And welcome back to the Divine Podcast and episode 2. Welcome back to the Divine Podcast. Welcome to episode 2. I am here with K-State hammer thrower Monique Hardy. How you doing today?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. How's your week been?
My week has been good. It's been really good. Just, getting used to the new schedule and new semester.
Yeah, new semester started up. I'm very curious about your sport, so let's get into that.
Yeah.
What is track and field to you, and specifically hammer throwing?
Track and field to me, I've been involved in the sport for so long, so it's a very big part of my life. I devote a lot of time and energy towards it, so it's a big part of me. And specifically, my sport is hammer throwing. So hammer throw is it's not a very poppy sport. Throwing in general, it's the field portion of track and field. So it's a lot to do with strength training and being able to use your power and your strength in your body for output, as far as putting a ball as far as you can throw and things like that. So, but it's a very big part of my life, and it's something that I've enjoyed since I was maybe 14. So,
Oh, that's really cool. So, since you were 14, how'd you come up with that love, and what's your story there?
Well, at first, so I was playing soccer at the time, and the throws coach had saw me throwing I don't know what's it called again, a throw in, I guess, for soccer, and he was like, "Wow, why don't you try shot put?" And I just went into summer track and did shot put, and he brought me up to varsity as an 8th grader, and it was just the funnest thing ever. And I got into hammer throwing specifically just because it sort of came naturally to me, learning the turns and the movements, and just I love throwing from there.
Who inspired you to continue through that? Because I know in high school, a lot of students and athletes kind of that's a big decision going into college. You're like, well, should I continue the sport? Should I switch a sport? Should I just go through academics?
I guess my genuine love for the sport really made me want to pursue it more and see how far it could take me, and really just putting my whole heart and effort into it. My main supporters and everything, my parents and my family, have really pushed me to be the best that I can be. So I think they really keep me going every day.
That's really cool. And I kind of want to know how you came, to LSU first before you came here. What was that decision kind of like in going to choose LSU?
So out of my sophomore year of high school, I was recruited to, a ton of Division I schools, LSU, UCLA, Auburn, Penn State, any school you could think of, Tennessee, Florida. So it was just a lot because that year I threw decently, and then the next year I popped off, and I'm number 2 all time in the high school weight throw. So yeah, and it was right before COVID started, so I didn't get a chance to break the number 1, and nationals got shut down and everything in March. So, but yes, I do. I that started my recruitment journey into where I wanted to go. And at LSU, I met the coach there and really believed in what he was saying and believed in his philosophy in throwing, and just committed there.
That's so cool. Man, so many schools. How do you, as a college athlete, you're like, whoa, what school do I pick? What's going through your mind during those situations and decisions?
It's a lot. You're thrown with all the glitz and glam of every school. Here's this person who was here. Here's, the money and all of the glory of the school. And with the SEC, Big 12, Big 10, you see all of the sparkly, shiny things of it. But you sort of have to look past that and see who the coach is, what philosophies of the team bonding, what place fits you and your heart the best. So I was, like I said, I'm blessed to have the parents and the family that I do have, and they were able to help me, nitpick and see what and who would be the best, not only coach, but the best environment for me to grow and prosper in. So,
That's cool that your parents helped you with that. There's less.
yeah.
There's something I want to read. Like you're the 2021 SEC Freshman Field Athlete of the Year indoors. 2021 SEC All Freshman Team indoors and outdoors. 2020 to 2021 SEC First Year Academic Honor Roll. That's like crazy achievements for a freshman, especially
Yeah.
at SEC school.
Yeah. So I think just growing up, my parents have always instilled to be the best, the very best at what you're doing. You know, why not put your whole heart into everything? And those type of accolades come with that type of dedication. And yeah.
It's really cool. And with that, like, how was your years at LSU, and like, what achievements did you kind of keep and was like, yeah, that's the one I really wanted to get when I was little?
Um, I don't know. I kind of just at LSU, I was very kind of go with the flow. I was very like, okay, the college is new. First time being away from my parents, first time being away from home. You know, I'm from New York, so it was just like, oh, like, you know, just do what I do every day and hopefully, you know, be the best at it and just work very hard. So it was, I don't know. how to describe it.
New York to Louisiana is a change.
It's a big jump. It is a big jump. It was a very big jump, and I'm glad I took that leap of faith because it was definitely a great experience. And transitioning from there to here was very, very seamless, just because of the experience I had there and coming here.
Yeah, and at LSU, you know, you got all those achievements, and then transferring here. How was that?
Yeah.
How was that? And like, what was your decision to come here?
So my decision to come here was obviously to continue my athletic journey as well as my academic journey with my coach, and it was not the easiest decision in the world. I do have to say, you know, everyone loves that big name LSU, and you know, K-State has a very big name too. It was just something that I never looked at. It was just, you know, what's in front of me. So K-State wasn't in front of me when I first made my recruitment decision. So it was a very hard decision to, you know, leave one place and come to another. But I came to find out when I got to K-State, I loved it so much more here. It was a very different experience, and it's something that I will never forget. So yeah.
That's really cool. What kind of like unique techniques do you have? Are you different from like everybody else? Like, what's kind of your technique for that?
For hammer, I think the technique is very, I mean, different for everybody. For me, I'm very, I don't want to toot my horn, but I'm a pretty strong woman, so my technique is a little bit more power based, which is great for what I'm doing and everything. So just being good at my strengths and giving into those and really working with my coach to empower those and, you know, just be a little bit more specific with that, and as well as blending in the technical aspects of the throw, it really creates something very special.
That's cool. And growing up, I didn't really like think of track and field as like one of the big sports like football and baseball and basketball. And it's really a unique sport to do, and there's so many different events in it. What would you say to people out there that don't really look at it or don't even want to watch it?
I think three words: open your eyes. I think track and field is one of the most entertaining sports because you have so many different places you could go to. You can watch the jumps, you could watch the throws, you could watch sprints, you could watch distance, you could watch hurdles. There's so many different aspects of track and field that is encompassed that can relate to other sports, but it's nothing like any other sport. And I feel like if people were to open their eyes and see a little bit more about track and field and be able to, you know, get into, you know, who the Sydney McLaughlins, who the Tara Davises are of the world, and be able to dive into that, it's just as entertaining as any other sport.
Yeah, it's a very unique sport, and the more I was looking into it, and of course, like meeting you, it's a really cool sport because it's not, when you think of track and field, most people think of running, but it's so many different events. It's not
is.
just football where it's one sport. It's multiple sports into one category of sports. So I really think it's cool, and there's a lot of unique techniques. There's
Mhm.
unique work ethics, and like, what's your work ethic, and what's kind of your week of like lifting and preparing for your match?
So for us, every week we lift in the fall, we lift almost every single day and throw almost every single day, 4 times a week, 1 day off. Um, 2 practices and 1 lift typically in a day, or depends on the day. It varies. It varies week to week. I guess being disciplined in not only in those areas, but you also it doesn't end out in at the track. It goes into nutrition, how much sleep you're getting, where your mentality is at, and all of that. It plays into the sport and what you do in the ring and on the track. So it doesn't really end.
That's really cool. How do you balance being an athlete and also academics and then personal life too?
It takes a village. It takes a lot of discipline and consistency and knowing what is important. So if there's one day that, hey, I need to, lock into schoolwork, I'm going to do that. Or if there's, hey, like I have a little bit extra time, I'm going to take a little bit more time for self-care or doing things that I want to do, or, hey, I'm going to go to the grocery store and get all the nutrition stuff I need for the week, but just balance that sort of balance with time and dedication to what is most important to you makes it really easy.
That's cool. And
Easier.
yeah, just balancing that lifestyle is because it's very interesting how college athletes balance their lifestyle with just extracurricular stuff they do, academics, and then also their sports. They want to be better in their sport, that craft. It takes a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, when I'm editing videos, it takes like hours, and just doing a sport, it takes hours to practice and build your strength. And how do you kind of want to talk about your faith now? How do you build your faith in Christ? And how does that help you be better every single day?
For me, it's knowing that God is with me through everything, through highs and lows. You're thankful for every single bit. I think having that faith and having your belief in Christ enlights your whole life, not even in just sports, but in school, in your family life, in relationships. Having that connection with Christ helps in so many levels with mentality, your spirit, because for me right now, I've been very focused on overall joy, because happiness comes and goes, and joy is something that sticks with you at all times. And with God, He's able to instill that joy in you. But if you were to rely on any other outsources, you're only relying on happiness, which comes and goes. So I've been really focused on that and finding joy not only within my sport, but within myself. So it just creates a whole new world. Like I said, it opens your eyes. It opens your eyes to just a whole new perspective on life in so many different areas. So
yeah, the peace of joy that surpasses all understanding. I mean, it's a great joy, and like we heard on the last episode about Mason coming to Christ. What's your story of coming to Christ?
Well, for me, I've always grown up in the church. Ever since I was little, every Sunday we're going to church, and then, going to college, and that I think that was a little bit of a difficulty, because it was like, okay, like it's not you, your parents, and Christ. It's going to be a relationship between you and Christ, because when you're young, you always just do whatever mom and dad tells you. Go to what they tell you. Go to the children's church. Go do this. But when it was on me to instill, hey, like this is someone and something that you need in your life to be successful in what you're doing, it was automatic. Like I knew, like, hey, like this is something that I cannot live without. This is something that I can't move forward in athletics or life without. So
that's really cool, because like when I came to Christ, it was I wanted my own personal relationship with Christ. It was I didn't want my family's like to intervene. Like it wasn't my mom's relationship. It wasn't my dad's. It was me and Christ.
Yeah.
So I think that's really cool how you made your own relationship with Christ, especially in college. I mean, a lot of students come here and they're away from home.
Yeah.
Some 10 hours away from home, and
Mhm.
just they're all alone, and just knowing that we have the peace of God with us, and He's always with us, and Christ's always with us and guarding us, and
Mhm.
just being with us. It's a joy. And how do you go throughout your daily life and like be encouraged by Christ, and just how does He help you throughout your days and just help you be good as a person?
I wake so every in my everyday today, I have a devotional. I read every morning, and I pray every morning and night, which helps me not only start my day the right way but end it. And just whenever things may seem bleak or look, out of my control, I know that it isn't. It is in His control and not mine. And knowing that His path and His plan for me is way bigger than what I can imagine. And I just have that blind faith and trusting that it's going to be better than what I think or put in front of myself. Because, like you said, people coming to college and there's so many temptations, all those good old college things.
Yes.
That's just, all of those crazy temptations. And it is a difficult thing to do, is to find Christ and not only find Him, but stick with Him and be with Him and be drowning in His glory. It's hard to do that in college because of the temptation, because of how hard it is, because you're far away from home, because, school is just, everyone knows college is difficult.
Yeah.
It's a known fact. And it's easy to go to those temptations. It's easy to go to those things because it's right in front of you. Because there's, and you do your best to try, I wouldn't say save, but try to enlighten other people to say, hey, like maybe there's a better path for that, And with my day to day, I always try to encourage others and be the most uplifting as possible. Not everyone's going to have their best days, but on your day to day, I always try to encourage at least one person to be happier or better and put them hopefully in a better mind or heart state. So
That's really cool. It's encouraging, and I mean, you got that like joy, you got that energy. So I bet all the people around you are happy to have you. And I mean, how are your relationships with your teammates, your coaches, like that?
My relationships with my teammates are awesome. They're always fun to have around. We do a lot of things like hanging out outside of track and just getting to know each other on a different level. Because it's easy to just go on a day-to-day, going to practice. Oh, you're going to lift. Oh, I'll see you at PT. Like, but getting to know everybody on that personal level and just hanging out with everybody, it's a great experience on the track team. I love, our head coach, and just our head coach does now, Coach Geffert. He does a great job of getting all of us together and just having that great team spirit and effort, which is instilled in everyone on this team. So it's been pretty great this year.
It's really cool. And I mean, it's really cool just seeing, and it's encouraging for me and a lot of people who have watched the first episode and now are going to see your story. Because just as an athlete, and like I always say, college athletes, a lot of parents, a lot of people look at them as bad influences, or they're in deep sin, or they're just people that their children shouldn't be looking up to.
Right.
And it's encouraging from Mason and in your story now to see both sides of different sports and different stories and backgrounds. Just that's encouraging. And I mean, it's really cool to see those stories. And how do you get encouraged by other people in their relationship with Christ?
For me, I'm a big story person. When I hear stories about where someone has been and where they are now, it encouraged me to be like, hey, why not you? Why not? Why you can do this too, So it encourages me to hear other people doing amazing things, because it makes me want to work even harder. So that's something that always sits with me. Anytime I see someone doing great, I'm like, I'm very proud and very happy for them, and just enlightened that, hey, like you can do this too. So
it's really cool. What's kind of your goal this season?
So I have some high goals. My goal, but the biggest goal that I have is to be better than I was yesterday, to, improve every meet and just be my best self every single week. So coming off a really great season last year, I'm, just having that humble mentality for myself. So it's been
That's really cool. I mean, you got so many stats. I mean,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
that's really cool, especially in a unique sport. I mean, it's really cool to see stuff like that. And what do you kind of want for the future and after college, or just in your career for the next few years?
So I just graduated with my bachelor's in human life sciences with a minor in psychology.
It's really cool.
So, and I'm currently in my master's in business administration program. I'm in my first semester with that. So, what I wanted to do with these degrees is to work in student athlete development and possibly in compliance or in just in athletics in general to help not only encourage, but to be that person in the room for athletes. I've been a part of so many like changes and things like that in my life. And I feel like I want to be that person to be there for student athletes during those different times and to be encouraging and to help them find their way not only within athletics but outside of athletics, because that's something that really heavily influenced me here at K-State, and just pursuing that career here and as well as elsewhere. So,
That's so cool. What's very unique about K-State to you?
oh my goodness, there's so much. Okay. Well, as I was saying earlier, so coming from LSU to here, athletically, I do have to say I feel more whole as a person. I felt more as a whole as a person. And I guess, with that SEC mentality, it was very like statistical, you're more of a number. And I felt like my development here was just through the roof as a person. And I was able to find peace in knowing that, hey, you're developing in and out of the sport. You know that you have a strong support system around you, because here, like, people are so different, like just like friendly all around. You'll always have a support system around here. So it's been very, very encouraging. I enjoy, like I said, the team is very close knit. So we're all just, keeping up with each other and hanging out, and it's very unique here. And not even just K-State, in Manhattan. Yes, Manhattan is a small town compared to others, but it's definitely homey. It reminds me of home. So
That's really cool. And what would you tell people about hammer throwing and why you should choose that sport, or just why you should watch that sport?
So hammer throw, I feel like it should be watched and pursued because it's, like I said, it's such a unique journey. It starts with a lot of technical things, but once you get the hang of it, it's very encouraging. It teaches you a lot about yourself. If you have a bad throw, will you crash out and not want to do it again? Or will you get back up and take 50 more until you're better than you were yesterday? It teaches you a lot about discipline and encouragement. With the technical aspects, you have to make sure you do it every throw, or all the little things. So it's definitely a great sport to learn about yourself, but also learn about so many great athletes that pursued the sport. People that have come before me, and as being a Black student athlete, I've learned so many other Black throwers that I've kept up with and learned about, and I'm like, wow, like that's very encouraging to know where I've come from and where I could go with those Olympians and world champions in the sport.
Yeah. What's kind of one hammer thrower you look up to?
There's so many. There are so many. Well, my training partner, one of my old training partners, Janae Casnavoid, Gwen Berry, Deanna Price, Brooke Anderson. Those are my few. Though they're amazing people. Not only like they're amazing people and amazing throwers. I was able to compete against them last summer at the Olympic trials. So just meeting them and not only like having a little bit of a conversation about them, about like throwing, but life in general. So
So cool. How was the Olympic trials?
it was a great experience. I enjoyed every minute. I was able to, like I said, throw against the greats and meet Olympians and really just get that experience under my belt and know that, hey, like, this is the next step. This is the next step in your career. It's time to, make those adjustments, these next couple of years so you can be back here and, training for those spots. So it was
It's a
awesome.
cool, unique opportunity. I mean,
Yeah.
to get any opportunity you get, and especially your sport, would you like to do the Olympics one year?
Yeah. Of course I would. That's always been the goal.
It's always the
So,
goal.
Yeah.
Well, I do have a personal question.
Yeah.
I'm from Arkansas.
Oh,
So
boy.
how is it going against the Razorbacks?
Oh, geez. Well, they actually, it's been quite nice.
Really?
They don't have any throwers. for right now. So, but yeah, I think, but they don't have any throwers right now, but they do have Ryan Krauser, he has so many accolades. World champion, world record holder in the shot put, indoor and outdoor, I believe. He's, I think 6-time Olympic champion, like crazy shot putter down there. Going down there and watching him throw sometimes is pretty cool. So, but their track team is insane. Their track team is pretty good, but K-State will be even better soon.
That's really cool. And one final question: what would you say to any young children out there who are trying to pursue a career in your career, and then also just in sports? And just what are some words of encouragement that you would tell them?
Keep going. Don't give up. Be disciplined in what you're doing. Even if it gets hard, even if things don't seem right, keep going because you will find your footing somewhere. With younger, I just thinking back on my career, getting so caught up in, hardships or getting so caught up in things that's outside of the sport, just keep going and focus on what is most important to you and what is in front of you instead of, so many outside things. So yeah, but just, being very forward-minded and not looking back. So
It's really cool. I thank you for being here.
yeah, of course.
This was great. I
This
like
is
your
awesome.
story.
Thank you.
Don't forget to follow Monique on Instagram. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram. And don't forget to subscribe. And we'll see you on the next episode. God bless.
Go Cats.
Go Cats.